Yeah, I agree that we definitely need to shift our focus there and start thinking a little bit more logically about things. Um, tell us about your trip cross country. What inspired that with Misty and Sam? I know that you did two, actually. You did one from Georgia to Oregon, or Oregon to Georgia, and then one from New York to L.A. Tell us about those.
Well, the first trip from Georgia to Oregon was my personal adventure. I just had a notion I wanted to ride my horse across America, and then, of course, I combined it with my politics, wearing the T-shirt, PAPSITE, legalized pot. Ask me why. And from that trip, I was able to not only fulfill my own personal adventure, but also realize that the Misty's, was a drop-dead good-looking, if you will, horse, and she helped me gather a lot of free media. And so I put together a proposal for LEAP in 2005 to take, as it turned out, two horses across America and an organized campaign to, like Paul Revere, spread the word that the drug prohibition, war on drugs, is a failed, destructive policy. And for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. Obviously, it was very hard, but the publicity we gathered in those 7 months riding across America in 2005 was well worth the effort and the expense. I mean, between all the television and newspaper articles, et cetera, approximately 13 million people were able to be exposed to the idea that the war on drugs is opposed by many law enforcement professionals of law enforcement against prohibition.
Very good. Now, you are actually, are you in Washington right now?
I'm actually in the halls of Congress as we speak.
Now, what are you doing there? That's great, by the way, and thank you for everything that you're doing. But what is your trip? What are you looking to accomplish this time?
Well, this Wednesday is a fairly typical day. First I went to a meeting from 10 to noon. Grover Norquist is a very important conservative here in town, and he's given me a permanent invitation to his Wednesday brunch, where 150 of some of the most important conservatives in the country get together every Wednesday. And from there, I came to the Congress, and I've had two meetings with staffers, one from Maryland, one from Alabama, to give them the law enforcement perspective on why this is bad policy. And we need to employ, what I do here in the Congress is strictly say employ the 10th Amendment, states' rights, if you will, and allow Alabama to run Alabama or Texas to run Texas, and shift this thing back down to the states like we did in 1933 with alcohol. So my function here is to simply get the Congress to kick this football back down to the states and let them make the decision, first with marijuana and industrial hemp, medicinal use or personal use, and from there I would go on to lobby and educate them that we need to kick all these drugs back down to the state level and allow them to make decisions there.
And what is the climate of your proposal? What are you sensing from them? What kind of feedback are you getting?
Well, the good news is, I'll give you the good news first. The good news is at the staff level, ever since the Ron Paul revolution of 2007, 2008, Republican staffers almost unanimously have become little Ron Paul libertarians, and certainly believing that the 10th Amendment should control drug issues, all drugs, from marijuana to heroin. And Democrats were that way most of the time anyway, just for other reasons. So my job is easier, certainly not easy, less difficult, because now at the staff level, this essentially is over. If the legislative aides, legislative directors could vote, marijuana would be, the federal prohibition of marijuana would be over today. Unfortunately, of course, the bad news is that there are powerful forces from law enforcement, pharmaceutical companies, private prison industries, and others that are preventing the bill that I work on, 2306, which is the Ron Paul Barney Frank bill, to apply the 10th Amendment to marijuana policy. We got 15 people signed on to it so far, but we still haven't seen the breakthroughs of mainstream Republicans coming in and saying, I believe strongly enough in the 10th Amendment, no matter how I feel about marijuana, we should allow the states to choose their own path. So there's still lots of work to be done.
Now, what can we as constituents do to make our voices known and put some pressure for, our elected officials to vote in in a direction that we would like to go in.
Yeah, well, it's important for every one of your listeners, no matter where they live in the 50 states, to contact their U.S. congressman, or the House of Representatives, and just go to their website and then send them an email. It's very, very easy. And tell them to support 2306-2306, the Repeal Marijuana Prohibition Act of 2011, and then to send me a copy of that response, because what we're doing is we're getting up an intelligence file on all 435 congressmen to essentially say they're in favor of using the 10th Amendment or not. And
okay,
from that we can then target our information here in the and they can also back home at the town, at like a town meeting, ask them, so if you believe in the 10th Amendment so strongly, why are you opposing allowing the states to choose their own path of marijuana? So you can kind of what we call name them and shame them if they still believe that prohibition is the best way to go.
Mm-hmm. Very good. I will send you my letters, because I wrote all of my public officials about a week and a half ago, and I've received 2 responses back, neither of which I thought, they just weren't acceptable on any level, because the responses that I got back showed ignorance to the issue and an unwillingness to learn. And to me, it is unacceptable to have, one, ignorant representation, people making our laws and representing us, and or people who are in it for special interest. Neither one of those is acceptable to me. So I'll be forwarding you my letters.
Well, thank you. For your audience, it's Howard Wooldridge, and the 0 at gmail.com is the email address, howardwooldridge0@gmail.com. And then I can take that information, and there's 8 of us working on this bill here in the Congress, and we are going to put together intelligence on all the offices to better target where we need to go. Like today, an aide asked, well, what about DUIM, driving under the influence of marijuana? How would police detect it and arrest for it? And of course, having arrested people for that particular charge, I was able to go through chapter and verse how we do a DUI arrest that doesn't involve alcohol. So these are the things that are coming up that I'm addressing the concerns of the congressional offices.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah, it helps to be a street cop when you're talking about these issues, obviously. God bless all the people out there in your audience who work in this. But what has been effective these past 6 years has been told to me is the fact that as a street cop who's arrested hundreds of drunk drivers and others and thousands of people in general, or pedophiles when I was a detective, certainly that background really helps the legislative aide, understand that whether they agree with me or not, I've certainly been on the front lines of this thing.
Yeah, you have. On 2 different angles. First as someone fighting the war on drugs, and again someone fighting against the war on drugs, having seen the damage that it really brings along with it. So, now, is there any other legislation out there? Oh, let me back up 1 second. When you do compile your list, will that be made public? Because I think it would be great as a voting tool for people out there, because back to, the idea that people do not have a lot of time nowadays because they are busy just trying to make ends meet and do the best for their family. It's hard to do your research on just about any topic, even when it comes to what your legislators stand for. Your list, will it be made public so that people who are really using this as a guideline as who they're going to vote for can access it and perhaps make a more informed decision about their legislators? Absolutely.
This will be made public as they come in. We've had about 30 offices make a decision one way or the other on the repeal of marijuana bill, and I've just got a volunteer who's agreed to take care of those particular files for me. And probably about the first week of October, we should have the first results coming out. And then as people like yourself and your audience send me their responses, then we can put those up on the website to help people make a decision on whether their congressman on this particular issue is either, as I like to say, they're either voting with the Mexican cartels to keep marijuana illegal, or they're voting for the right for states to choose their own path.